Hello everyone and welcome to the Dreams Come True video hop with Altenew. I'm Bridget Casey with Bridget Casey Designs, and here's a sneak peek of the project that we're going to work on right now. So we're going to start by showing you the Poppy Arrangement stamp set. This was released in 2020. And then we have the Poppy Arrangement stencil set. It's a 4-piece stencil set to color in the images in Poppy Arrangement. So we're going to get started with Obsidian onto a piece of 80-pound Neenah Solar White Classic Crest cardstock. We are going to heat emboss this, and I was playing a little loosey-goosey and I did not pre-treat my paper, but because I use crystal clear embossing powder, I feel a little safer, I guess. And I touched it up a scotch with a brush, but not too much. I was super happy it didn't have extra. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to heat set this. You guys know almost every time I use Obsidian, I love to add that extra special touch of adding the crystal clear heat embossing. And especially, I don't often do line blending. I usually do no line blending. So it added a little extra special touch for me on this project. So here are the inks we're going to use. Although I do not use crimson, I change it to rouge. So we're starting with strawberry in a mini blending tool, and I'm lining the stencil up, and because I haven't taped it down, it moves a scotch, so I kind of have to move with it. And so yes, tape your paper down, tape your stencil down. It's that big, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. I'm winging it, you guys know. So I wanted to show you in the layering guide in the stencil pamphlet, it shows we just did number 1 there. Number 1 for the leaves is also on the first stencil. So we're going to go ahead with frayed leaf and we're going to add that color. Now you may notice I am adding darker colors from where I think they would be darker. I'm adding that extra touch of dimension. So even if you didn't have a second layer to this image, you get some dimension by adding depth, by where you would come in anyways. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know. Now we're moving to stencil number 3, that little 3 there, and we're going to find our leaves and our second layer of our floral. So right there in the corner, the beautiful Altenew insignia and the number 3. So we're going to go ahead with Firefly, and I'm doing the same thing where I'm coming in where I think it would be darkest. That way, if you have a whoops, which I have a lot of whoops, that way if you come in super dark, super duper dark, at least it looks like it's some dimension under your project. Now we're coming in with the second layer of our floral, and we're using blush. I hope you guys will take a look at adding some of the jewel tones. And so we're moving on to number 4, which we're using rouge. This is stencil number 4, flower layer number 3. I hope you guys will look at adding some of the Frozen Delights and the jewel tones into your projects. Just mix and match with the inks that you have and that you love and that you use, and see what you can come up with for some cool color combos. So now we're going to die cut these out, which perfect. And then I had an idea, and I should have done partial die cutting. I wasn't paying attention. I had a medical thing going on at this time that my medication, I wasn't thinking kind of clearly. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just cut it. And no. I should have done partial die cutting. But anyways, I digress. I do fix it. So maybe it happened for a reason. So how I fixed it was I added, as you can see, a bunch of different pieces behind it from my scrap pile that is in my Gilded cardstock that I'll just trace with a pencil, what hangs over, trim it off, and then now it looks like one continuous piece. So if that happens to you guys, and oops, that's how you fix it. So maybe it happened for a reason. So then we just added foam tape because I love that look at dimension. And now we'll add our sentiments on there. I chose to use 2. And I did use some thin foam squares behind the sentiments so that there were 2 different levels of dimension on my card. Now we're just adding the instant dimension foam tape to the back. We'll stamp our sentiment, and this card is done. You could add some splatter or some enamel dots as well if you wanted to step it up. I hope you had a great time today. I know I did. Looking forward to our next crafty session already. Happy crafting!